Welcome back to the channel, Hobby-Wan Kenobi here. It's time to give the Mi-24 a go. Known as the Hind, this helicopter has always fascinated me as a kid who grew up in the 80s. Name any action hero who went up against a Warsaw-packed country, fictitious or real, and the one helicopter sent out would be the Mi-24 Hind gunship. Even the latest Top Gun featured one near the end of the film. After a bit of research, I opted to go with the ZVEZDA kits. I also decided to go with the V version. The Mi-24P is also offered by ZVEZDA, but this version carried a large cannon which simply didn't appeal to me. As a kid, I built the Monogram D version of this helicopter. That version of the Mi-24 and the V both served in the Soviet-Afghanistan War in the 80s, and it's this era which I wish to depict with this model. I plan to have the canopy doors open, so I decided to get the combined ResKit resin and Quinta 3D decal cockpit set. After removing the pieces from their resin blocks and cleaning the pieces up, it's now time to start painting. I always use primer on resin parts, so I laid down a few light coats of Tamiya Gray primer and started to spray Tamiya NATO Black on the main pieces. Next, I wanted to create some chipping at the floor of the cockpit, just in front of the seats. Before going straight onto silver, I decided to weather the area first with a gray, implying worn but not quite yet chipped areas. I dry brushed artist oils to create this effect. While I was at it, I also applied the gray color with a sponge at areas where wear would make sense. I again used a sponge to apply the silver color for chipping. Next, it was time to start painting the few bits of color around the nearly all black cockpit. Now I started to highlight the seats, then started to color the seat cushions and straps. I used Vallejo color paints for these areas. Mixing the paints with just a bit of water on a wet palette has been a game changer for me when painting these kinds of details. I start to apply color in various patches, not being too concerned if the paint touches parts that shouldn't have the color. Touch-up will happen soon. Since NATO Black was used for the seats, a darker, truer black was used for the leather-like material found on the seat backs. Once all of the details have been painted in the cockpit, I decided to add a straight black pin wash to rivets and other details. Now it's time to add the Quinta 3D decals. 3D decals are easy to apply, just remember a few things. First, place a drop of water on the backing paper. Placing the decals in the water isn't actually necessary, and the decals will start to soak up the water and expand. You just need enough water to soften the backing paper and free the decal. Use PVA white glue to adhere the decals to the part. 3D decals can also be attached with super glue. Just use it sparingly and carefully. Now the cockpit is really starting to be colorful. Well, that does it for this video. If you enjoyed this content, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.